What is up, guys? Smash Bros. Pro 33 here, bringing you another Pokemon X and Y Wi-Fi battle. This is a standard match versus my buddy Tyler, also known as RetroMushroom. We'll leave a link in the description because he's a cool guy and a good battler as always. So, looking at my team, I have some Pokebank pokes. I got the Infernape, the Sceptile, and the Tornadus T, all from Pokebank. And I've also made a Digger's Bee and a Vaporeon because they're both really good, and I wanted to try them and see how they do with the current meta. Anyway, threats on Tyler's side of the field are going to be the Greninja, the Alakazam, and the Excadrill if the sand is up. So that's pretty much it for the threats, and I also have to keep that Rotom in check with my Sceptile, because otherwise that thing is just going to be bolt switching around in my face, and I can't just bring in Digger's Bee because I don't want to take a Hydro Pump because that would be nasty. But anywho, let's just get on with the match, shall we? Tyler is issuing that challenge against the one, the only Smash Bros. Pro 33 you guys all know and love. And Tyler's going to lead with the Rotom, hopefully buffing the Scarf, but that's not the case. I know this is a Resto Chesto Rotom because I've fought Tyler before, and I'm just going to go for the U-turn with Tornadus because I figure I can get a little bit of prior damage, and I can just check it with Sceptile because I know the Will-O-Wisp or the Volt Switch is coming my way, and turns out the Will-O-Wisp comes my way. And I know Sceptile is like the best thing to take a Will-O-Wisp. I don't want to bring in Digger's Bee because I don't want to take a Hydro Pump if he decided to go for that. And he's just going to switch out here, go in his Trevenant, and actually I do predict this. I'm going to go for the Hidden Power Ghost, which I checked, but I didn't think any other move would be better on it. But with HP Ghost, it can do some decent damage to Aegislash and Trevenant and Gourgeist, which all check Sceptile very, very well, standard. I know some carry Hidden Power Fire, but in my case it's Ghost, which works pretty well. Also works well against Gengar too, that want to come in thinking they can take any one hit from the Sceptile. So, what's going to happen here is Tyler's going to go for the rest. This is Natural Cure Trevenant, as opposed to the normal One Berry Harvest one. Which is still very good because Natural Cure Rest is always nice. You see Roserade and Shaman running it a lot. So what I'm going to do is going to Call Me Funk, the wonderful 5IV Infernape that me and Shane's decided to give to me to use. And it's really nice of you, thank you. And I'm in a bit of a situation. I want to go for Fire Punch, but I need to go for the U-turn because I don't want to lower my defense with close combat, and I don't want to predict anything. Don't want to predict Trevenant to come in because, I mean, he can just set up his rocks like he does, and I'm just going to go in Mermaid Man, which checks Tyranitar very, very well in any way, shape, or form, unless it carries that extremely rogue Thunderbolt, which I may have seen maybe twice in all of my battles. It's extremely, extremely uncommon. You probably run Fire Blast. I need to make a T-Tar myself. But, anywho, he is going to switch out here and go into his Trevenant here. And I'm just going to set up the Wish because I can pass it to Sceptile, who's at about half health, and I can just carry on with my Sceptile being at a really good amount of health and go for either the Leaf Storm or the Energy Ball or the Power Ghost if need be, which is the best thing against this Trevenant. But anyway, all these after turn effects happen because Trevenant and Vaporeon are both very fat, and with Weather Up it's just a mess. But I'm going to switch here, like I said, and I'm going to go in a Kamar once again, and I can pass that Big Wish because Vaporeon has a fat amount of HP. But Tyler here is going to switch out here, and he's actually going to go into his Rotom, which is actually really great for me, which puts him back into a defensive position where he needs to switch into the appropriate thing. I could predict Trevenant to come in and go for the Empowered Ghost, or I can go for the Energy Ball or the Leaf Storm, predicting him to stay in. I feel like the Hidden Power Ghost prediction is a bit too obvious, which is why I actually end up going for the Leaf Storm here, expecting him to stay in, expecting my prediction. But that's not the case. He's just going to go into Trevenant again because he knows he can take any one hit pretty well. I know for a fact that Hidden Power Ghost is very, very, very unlikely a 2-hit KO. But that's whatever the case may be, so I'm going to take a bigger bird damage, and I'm just going to switch out here because I know I can't 2-hit KO this thing. Go into Infernape once again. I know I can offensively check most of his team with it, and I'm very comfortable bringing it in, but Tyler is going to go for the Shadow Claw, end up getting a critical hit, which means I'm actually down to a really tough choice. I can go for the close combat, expecting Tyranitar to come in to take the Fire Punch. I can go for the Thunder Punch, which is the best thing against the more latter of them. Most of his team doesn't take a Fire Punch very well, except for his Rotom and his Tyranitar. Or I could have gone for the Thunder Punch, but it wouldn't have done much to Trevenant, but I end up getting the burn on the Fire Punch, which is funny, but it's not going to be doing me any good because this is a Resto-Chesto variant of Rotom, like I said earlier, so he's going to be able to get all that health back for basically free. And I just need to keep spamming Fire Punch because since Tyler set up the Stealth Rock, I can't really switch out. I might as well just spam the Choice Banded Fire Punches. Iron Fist boosted, I mean, why not? It's going to do something. I mean, all damage is damage. Tyler's going to switch into Tyranitar, get up the sand, no big deal. That Fire Punch actually did almost a quarter, which is nice considering Tyranitar's amazing bulk, even stock. I'm 95% sure this is especially defensive Tyranitar, but anywho, base 110 defense kicks in and manages to take 2 Fire Punches because it's resisted. Not that big a deal at all because I need to keep Infernape in as Death Fodder because I need to be able to bring something in safely, whether it be my Tornadus or my Sceptile or my Diggersby. In that case, I am going to bring in said Diggersby. And I feel like Rotom is just going to come in to dodge the Earthquake because that was the obvious play, right? So I'm going to go for Stone Edge, expecting that, but I end up missing. And that miss prediction, works both ways. That actually ends up costing my Diggersby very dearly because I need to be able to connect the Stone Edge to knock out the Tyranitar. I was just expecting him to switch, but that doesn't happen. It takes a good 80% away from my Diggersby with the Crunch. It's probably not even invested, that's sad, but then again, my Diggersby, the defense stat isn't great because it's Diggersby, it's a glass cannon. Anyway, back in comes Kamar to take whatever hit this Rotom wants to throw at me. It's going to go for a Hydro Pump, and it's going to do about 35% roughly. That doesn't even matter because I know I can take this thing out with an Energy Ball or a Leaf Storm. I could predict Trevenant to come in and go for the Empowered Ghost because, I mean, the temptation to bring this thing in is very big. So, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Go for the Empowered Ghost, expecting Trevenant to come in. That's a pretty easy 2-hit KO. Even with the leftovers, there's no way Tyler's going to be able to live another one. And that's great for me, which means my Sceptile has him in a kind of a corner here. So what he's going to do here is, because he knows that this is a choice spec set by now, is he's going to go back into his Rotom, which is a bulkier set. He's going to be able to take the Hidden Power Ghost pretty well because that's not stab, it's just choice specs, and Rotom is very decently bulky on its own base, like 107 special defense. Now I'm going to go into my Manectric here. I'm going to try and get some Volturn shenanigans going on because I know that Manectric and Tornadus T actually make quite the good Volturn core if I do say so myself. Manectric boasting at base 135 or 140 speed after Mega Evolution, and Tornadus with that base 121. And I'm just going to let loose a Thunderbolt. And turns out he misses the Hydro Pump. This actually turns out to be pretty crucial because he really needed prior damage in order to strike with the Greninja or whatever his Scarfer is, if he has a Scarfer. I think actually his Mega's Alakazam, which I believe comes in now, because he hasn't brought that thing in yet. But anyway, in comes the Greninja here, and I leave in Tornadus because I feel like I can probably take the Hydro Pump if he wants to go for it, but goes for the Ice Beam. Tornadus doesn't do much of anything this game, but that's fine. I hate the fact that Greninja outspeeds Tornadus T by 1 base speed point. And from here, it's pretty much deadlocked because I know that Mega Manectric outspeeds everything on his team. and I can let loose thunderbolts at my will, except for this Excadrill, of course, because I can just go for the flamethrower, because that switch was extremely obvious. Now, if you say this burn mattered, let it be known that it really didn't matter, because I could have just KO'd it the next turn with another flamethrower, or he could have played differently. But that Hydro Pump miss, I want to say that one was kind of game-changing, because like I said before, Manectric needs a bit of prior damage in order to be KO'd, because his defense gets decent. Only decent, but I'm going to go into Diggersby here as Death Fodder, because I really need something for Death Fodder, so I can bring Manectric back in. Turns out, Tyler doesn't go for the Mega Evolution, so I'm wondering if he's just Focus Sash set, which is arguably better than the Mega Alakazam, even though Mega Alakazam boasts an amazing 175 base special attack stat. Anyway, I'm just going to let loose a couple Thunderbolts. Like I said earlier, it's pretty much game here because he just has this and the Greninja left, and Greninja gets outsped and KO'd. And the Trevenant gets KO'd by the Flamethrower, which is basically game in my favor. So that's basically going to be the battle. Tyler's just going to forfeit after this. It was a pretty nice match. So if you guys did enjoy this battle, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, all of that jazz. Check out Tyler, and I hope you guys are liking my new video edits and etc, etc. I'm going to be working harder on this stuff now. So that's it for today. Smash Bros. Pro 33 signing out. See you next time.